Hi everybody, this is Jean-Charles Compagnon, and today I want to introduce to you Terminator 1.1. If we click on it, right down there, we can see that in version 1.1 we've added cell similar as a relist option. So before you could only relist, now you can cell similar when you want to relist something. And we've added a new feature that we call the good till kiOui, so that you can relist an item or cell similar an item every so many days. So let's look at what changed in the ending queue. So if I add a record now, same process as before, I put an item ID in there. Time when I want this item to end, so let's say on April 29th, I want this item to end, which is no longer available. And in this case, I would want to relist this item. And so let's see, on a day after, so on April 30th, then I want that item to relist that just ended, so that I have some. That's how the behavior was working before. You didn't have this line here to choose if you wanted to relist, because or what you wanted to relist, it was just yes or no. But now you have the option of cell similar. So you all know what a cell similar does. Instead of just relisting an item which copies the history of this item, it actually now cells similar, meaning that we download all of the information of an item and we list it again. It's not a relist, it's a list again. Therefore, it creates a brand new item ID, no history, everything. So this can be very practical. If you have an item that's not performing, you can just schedule it to end like right now if you want. You know, it could be, let's say, to end this item right now, or let's say in 15 minutes, and we would not want it to relist as soon as possible 5 minutes later. And if we save this, then this item will relist. Obviously, it will end and then relist. Obviously, this is going to get me an error because this item 123 does not exist. But I'm just going to save it so you can see what it does in the interface. The title and the SKU will be filled up by our process, and you can see that it will be released as a cell similar and the release time when it will be released. Now let's click back on the queue. See, it didn't get our title yet. If we wait a little minute, it will. Now let's look at the new options as far as when it goes to the release queue. So let's see here, it's still waiting to be processed. You can see that the end time is wrong because it's basically 0, so it just displays an old date. This is date 0 in computer. I'll probably change that to just be a blank field if it's 0, so that you don't have to be bothered with that. And here, now you can see that there's an error because this item cannot be accessed because it does not exist. There you go. Relisting queue. So now that this item did not end properly, so it didn't make it to the release queue because it didn't end properly. That just stops the process. Now in the release queue, I have an Azure item, which if I click on, you can see it's just basically a test item that I have in my listing. I'm going to close it, and basically this item is going to cell similar. So it's not going to relist, it's going to list again. That is the SKU on April 1st, and it's going to do it every 4 days. And there's no hours in here, it's not used. So what's going to happen? This listing is going to keep selling itself again every 4 days. Now, if it happens that this listing, if I click on it, should be a duration of 3 days. So therefore, it's not going to create duplicates. But you have to be careful because you could easily create duplicates with this. So what I recommend is that when you have a listing that is 3-day duration, like this, leave a day in between so that, you know, I relist it I list it again. I'm sorry, I got to get used to that. Every 4 days. So let's try to create a record to see a little bit what options we have. So you can select if you want to list, sell similar, or relist, or list again, or relist an item. So in this case, we're going to do relist of item blah. We want to be notified. Now this item is already started, so I need to go look to see, when does it end, to make sure that it has to be released after it ends. If you try to relist, actually, let's go back and let's try to relist this item that's actually working right now. You'll see that if you try to relist an item on eBay, and let's try to relist it now, if you try to relist an item that has not ended, then it will error out. And let's see, I would want to relist this item every 8 days and 7 hours. So if I sell that, it should relist right away, or try to relist right away. It takes a little minute for our system to go through. Let's see if I refresh. Let's just wait a little bit. But you will see that there will be an error here telling you that this item cannot be relisted because it has not ended. Let's look at it, and we get this item was not relisted because the listing does not exist or is still active. And the fact is that it is still active. Now, if instead I wanted to not relist but sell similar, which in this case is going to create a duplicate for me, and I'm going to put it the same. Actually, I'm going to put it at 12. By the time I'm chatting, we should be there. And this is going to do a sell similar. Now, a sell similar is allowed. Even though it creates a duplicate, eBay is going to let us do. Maybe in the future, they'll throw an error saying that you can't do it. But the bottom line is that we can actually, our program, create duplicates. So you have to be very careful and manage your listing so you do not create duplicates. Again, I would recommend that when you create an item like this, let's open eBay. And let's look at this item. I would recommend that you look first to know when it's going to end, and that you do not sell similar an item that has already, that has not ended. You will get taken down with duplicates, and obviously in this case I don't really care because it's a test item. It's obviously a test item. Hopefully they won't give me a violation for that, but let's just save it and see how the process goes on this sell similar. So I'm saving it. Again, I have this sell similar here, which is configured properly because it's a 3-day, and it's going to relist every 4 days after the 3 days. So that's what you would want to do here. But let's see how this test item that's supposed to relist on March 29, if I click on relist queue, it has not relisted yet. You can see it, or it has not sold similar. You can see it because of the date. Let's try it again. There you go, April 6th now. So what it did is that it took our item here and created a new one with this item ID here. You can see brand new ID if I click on it. Brand new item ID, exactly a copycat of the previous listing. Test, 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 test. And this is an exact copycat, meaning that if you had a gallery down here, if you have a track, it's a copycat. We don't even look at what is inside the listing. We just copy everything. You can obviously come back here and revise it and change some things. Maybe if I want to avoid a duplicate listing, I'm gonna put second test so that the title is not exactly the same. Oh, and by the way, there's a little eBay bug here. Let's scroll down all the way. You can see it copied all of the option. If global shipping was put, it copied my mailing option. It copies everything down to the additional checkout. So let me revise this one to make sure it doesn't get to be a duplicate. And by the way, if you want to create multiple listings, this might be a good idea. Let's say you have two items that are very similar, test 1 and test 2. Then you could use this program to actually relist an item and then just go and modify it. And then we did 99% of the job for you. We copied every single thing out of it to make it easier. And so this listing is going to sell similar again later. You do not have to use those options. You could simply sell similar an item once, like this, and then it just will happen once, and then it will disappear. So on April 6th, it will relist as sell similar here, and then it will just go away. I'm going to keep it here just to show you guys. So now, if we want to see what happened, if we go to our status tab, and we go to the relisted tab, we can see that here, our first item, we tried to relist it, but we got an error. So we didn't get charged any fees. Now this item here, which was our old item, got sold similar or created a new item with this new item. That was the title, the SKU, and we got charged 5 cents. That's because I have a premium store. So I'm being charged 5 cents for fixed price listing. And you can see here what happened through the queue. You know, when an item was actually relisted, you can see that it took us a little bit of time. We had put 12, so it's happening at 13 and 1 second. So there's a little delay because our system has to obviously process it. You can see here that we tried to do a relist. That didn't work. You can see some other tests that I've done before. And what happened with them. You can go to the terminated status to see, you know, when some of the items were ended. And if we go back to a relisting queue, you could easily delete this. Up, and then it goes away. So that's about what's new in this version. We still have the support menu that didn't change. How to videos, support forum, unsubscribe. This one you will not see. This is an admin menu that only I have access to so that I can help you guys. Config didn't change. Same thing, it's just an email address for email notification. And if you look at notification, it shows what you've received via email if you signed up for it. And to sign up for it, you go here and you check this checkbox and say, notify me. And then we notify you, or we try to anyway. So I hope this will help some of you. Again, very nifty tool. Very practical, especially if you want to copy an item very quickly and modify it. Sometimes you do a sell similar from, you know, some of your items, but it doesn't copy everything. So this is just a practical tool, and it's scheduled, so you could easily say, hey, this item here, in fact, I don't want it to be on April 1st because I'm going to be on vacation. So here, it's going to be sick. I'm not going to be on vacation, but this is an example. And here, I would want it to release at noon, actually. And there, now my item will not relist, it will sell similar. It's a type of relist at that time, and then after that, it will follow that time every 4 days. So there you go. That's Key Terminator 1.1 for you. Hope you like it. Use it. Comments. Send us some suggestion. Anything goes. Thank you.